Hey, basketball fans, welcome back to Tips and Streams, your go-to spot for the hottest NBA regular season predictions. I'm Kokan, and I'm here to break down today's matchups and give you the edge you need to make the best bets. Before we dive in, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. Your support means the world to us. Remember, our channel has no sponsors and relies solely on the love and support of viewers like you. Even a small donation by pressing the thanks button under the video helps us keep bringing you top-notch content every day. Don't forget to share this video with your friends and fellow basketball enthusiasts. And we love hearing from you, so drop a comment below and let us know what you want to see in our forecasts. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you the content you crave. Let's jump right into today's NBA predictions. We've got some exciting games lined up, so stay tuned and let's get that winning streak going.
Today we have predictions for 5 NBA games. The first prediction for today is for a game between the Golden State Warriors and Indiana Pacers. The Golden State Warriors are heading to Indiana, and honestly, it feels like they're limping into this matchup. They've been in a rough patch lately, with just 4 wins in their last 14 games. After 37 games, sitting at 18-19 isn't exactly what we'd expect from a team that started this season so hot. It's like their spark fizzled out as soon as November turned into December. The Warriors have been stuck in neutral, looking more like a play-in hopeful than a legit contender. Stephen Curry is still Stephen Curry, no one's doubting that, but even he can't keep bailing this team out every night. This squad just doesn't have that same magic we've seen in the past. They're struggling in clutch situations, shooting bricks in the final seconds of the shot clock, and that's a problem. They've become way too predictable, forcing Curry into impossible shots. On top of that, guys like Buddy Hield, who looked promising early on, have gone ice cold. Dennis Schroeder? Another new face who hasn't quite clicked. And let's be real, bouncing around teams like Schroeder isn't exactly a sign of stability. Meanwhile, the Indiana Pacers are feeling themselves right now. They've been cooking lately, winning 10 of their last 13 games, and they're coming off a solid win against the Bulls. This team has quietly put together one of the league's most efficient offenses over the past month, climbing all the way to 4th in offensive rating. What's crazy is they don't even have a guy averaging 20 points per game, but their depth is no joke. 7 players are putting up double figures, and Pascal Siakam is leading the way in scoring. But let's not forget, Tyrese Haliburton is the engine of this team. He might not be back to his best yet after his injury, but his playmaking keeps everything moving. Indiana has been playing a little slower this year, but they're still pushing the pace enough to keep defenses on their heels. The one glaring issue? Rebounding. They're bottom 5 in the league, and if Golden State has any edge tonight, it's going to be on the boards. These teams met not too long ago, back on December 23rd, and the Pacers walked away with a 111-105 win on the Warriors' home floor. That game really kickstarted Indiana's hot streak, and they've kept the momentum rolling. Golden State, on the other hand, has been slipping further down the standings. They're on a back-to-back here, having played Detroit last night, and the Warriors just haven't been good in these situations this season. They're 2-3 on a second night of back-to-backs, and it's not hard to see why. The travel, the fatigue, it's a lot for a team already struggling to find its footing. On top of all that, the Warriors are dealing with injuries and might be resting players tonight. Kuminga's status is still up in the air, and honestly, this feels like a spot where Golden State could be shorthanded. The Pacers have been covering spreads like clockwork, going 7-3 against the number in their last 10 games, and they've owned the Warriors recently, covering 8 of their last 10 matchups. I'm rolling with the Pacers here. They're at home, they've got the rest advantage, and they're clicking offensively. The Warriors? They're a mess right now. Sure, Curry can always go off and keep it interesting, but this just feels like a bad spot for Golden State. The Pacers should handle business and cover the 7 points.
Welcome to BetUS, Sportsbook and Casino, your ultimate hub for secure and thrilling sports betting and casino gaming. BetUS is one of the oldest and most reliable online sportsbooks in the U.S., serving millions of clients all over the globe each month. BetUS, trusted for over 30 years, offers huge welcome bonuses, countless betting options, and many deposit and payout methods. Depositing funds is a breeze and safe, with a minimum deposit of just $10. Payouts are fast and hassle-free, beginning at only $50. Choose from various payout options like MoneyGram, couriered check, cryptocurrency, or bank wire. Signing up is quick and easy. For signing up, you can use the link in the description and enjoy a generous 125% welcome bonus of up to $3,000. By signing up using the link in the description, you'll also support us as we earn a small commission from your registration at BetUS. Thank you for supporting us. Join now and start winning.
The second prediction for today is for a game between the Milwaukee Bucks and Orlando Magic. The matchup between the Orlando Magic and Milwaukee Bucks has all the makings of a gritty, defense-first showdown. The Bucks, coming off back-to-back wins over the Spurs and Raptors, have been trying to shake off their early season woes. Let's not forget, they started the season with an ugly 2-9 record. But thanks to Giannis Antetokounmpo doing his usual MVP caliber thing and Damian Lillard finally finding his groove, Milwaukee has climbed to 20-16 and sits in the mix for a solid playoff seed. Giannis has been flat-out dominant, stuffing the stat sheet with 31.3 points, 11.8 boards, and 6.2 dimes a night. He's been the engine, the heart, and the soul of this Bucks squad. And Dame, after some early struggles, has stepped up as the perfect sidekick, dropping 24.8 points and leading the team with 7.4 assists per game. Chris Middleton's still working his way back to full form, but his return adds another layer to this team's depth. Defensively, Milwaukee has been solid, ranking 10th in efficiency, giving up 109.0 points per 100 possessions. Offensively, they've shown flashes of brilliance, but still lack that night-to-night consistency. Now, on the other side, we've got the Magic, a team that's been punching above its weight all season. Despite missing key players like Paolo Banchero, Franz Wagner, and Jalen Suggs for stretches, Orlando is 22-17 and playing some of the best team defense in the league. They're locking opponents down, ranking second in defensive efficiency, giving up just 107.5 points per 100 possessions. Offensively, though, it's been a different story. They're one of the slowest teams in the league in terms of pace, grinding out possessions at a snail's pace, and their score inefficiency leaves a lot to be desired. The big storyline here is Banchero's potential return. He's only played 5 games this season, but has been a beast when he's on the floor, averaging 29 points a night. Even if he suits up for this one, it's tough to expect him to immediately shake off the rust. Teams always need a little time to adjust when a star comes back after a long layoff. Plus, Franz Wagner's absence still looms large, and while he might be back later this month, that doesn't help Orlando tonight. For me, the key to this game lies in how each team executes its strengths. Milwaukee has to take care of the ball because Orlando's defense thrives on creating chaos and forcing turnovers. If the Bucks can limit their mistakes, they should be able to impose their will offensively, especially with the firepower they've got in Giannis and Dame. On the flip side, the Magic will need to knock down their threes at a high clip to stay competitive, especially with their current roster situation. Honestly, this feels like one of those old-school, grinded-out games. Orlando's going to try to turn it into a defensive slugfest, slowing the game down to a crawl. Milwaukee, for all its offensive talent, hasn't been the most consistent team, and their pace isn't exactly blazing either. The total sitting at 211 feels right on the money, but I lean toward the under. It's hard to trust Orlando's offense to light it up, even with Banchero possibly back, and Milwaukee's defense has been stout lately, holding opponents to 105 points or fewer in 3 straight games. I'm picturing the first, 105 kind of night, a throwback to those 90s-style rock fights where every bucket feels like a grind. If you're into high-flying, run-and-gun basketball, this might not be the game for you. But if you love a chess match on the court, with defense dictating the terms, this one should be right up your alley. Give me the under and a game that might look more like a playoff battle than a mid-season regular season tilt. Before we move on, I have a quick favor to ask. If you're enjoying the content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Subscribing might seem like a small action, but it actually makes a big impact for us. Plus, it's completely free for you. Have you clicked that subscribe button? Awesome, thank you so much for your support. Now let's dive back into the video. The third prediction for today is for a game between the Sacramento Kings and Boston Celtics. This showdown between the Boston Celtics and Sacramento Kings has me intrigued. On one hand, you've got a Celtics squad sitting pretty at 27-10, defending their title with calm confidence. On the other, the Kings are rolling into this matchup riding a 5-game win streak, playing their best basketball of the season. It's hard not to be impressed with what Sacramento's been doing lately. The Kings' resurgence after parting ways with Mike Brown has been one of the more under-the-radar stories in the league. Sure, there were whispers about friction between Brown and players like De'Aaron Fox, but whatever went down, the Kings have clearly found a spark under Doug Christie. Even with Fox likely sidelined again, they've handled business, taking down teams like Miami and Golden State. DeMar DeRozan looks like he's been drinking from the fountain of youth, hitting big shots and leading by example. And Malik Monk? He's been straight up cooking. The guy has hit the 20-point mark in 5 of his last 6 games and is thriving in an expanded role. Sacramento's offense is no joke. It's sitting 7th in the league, and their defense is sneaky solid, ranking in the top 16. They're not just eking out wins, they're proving they can hang with some of the best squads. I mean, they beat the Warriors by 30 in their own house. That's not just a hot streak, that's a statement. But let's not get it twisted. The Celtics are still the defending champs for a reason. They're coming off a solid win over Denver and have one of the most stacked rosters in the league. Jason Tatum continues to put up MVP caliber numbers, even if he's not getting the same hype as Jokic or SGA. The guy is a walking bucket and a glass cleaner, averaging 28 and 9. Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White. This team is loaded with dudes who can step up any given night. And while Kristaps Porzingis has had his share of injury woes, Boston's depth keeps them dangerous no matter who's out there. What really catches my eye, though, is Boston's inconsistency against the spread as big favorites. They're just 10-13 ATS when laying double digits this season, which tells me the oddsmakers have been giving them a little too much love. Sacramento, on the flip side, has a solid record as road underdogs, covering 4 of their last 6 games in that spot. That's not a small sample, it's a trend worth paying attention to. Then there's the total points. With Boston likely ramping up their 3-point attempts after a quieter showing last game, and the Kings' middle-of-the-pack pace keeping the tempo steady, I wouldn't be surprised if this one turned into a shootout. Monk's been getting buckets, and the Kings have shown they can keep up with elite offenses, even without Fox. When I look at the spread, Boston as 11-point favorites, it feels a bit too rich for my taste. The Kings are hot right now, playing with a chip on their shoulder, and they've got the weapons to keep this one respectable. I see the Celtics pulling out the win, but not by double digits. As for the total, 228.5 feels like a number these teams can eclipse, especially with both offenses firing. I'm riding with the Kings to cover the spread and for this game to go over the total. Boston's got the talent and pedigree to take care of business, but Sacramento's playing like a team with something to prove. This one's got the makings of a competitive, high-energy clash, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. The fourth prediction for today is for a game between the Oklahoma City Thunder and New York Knicks. The Knicks are hosting the Thunder at Madison Square Garden, and this matchup is shaping up to be one of the most exciting battles of the week. Both squads are coming in with something to prove, and the stakes feel high as these two playoff hopeful teams collide. For the Thunder, this season has been nothing short of incredible. They're sitting pretty with a 30-7 record, showing they're not just here to play, they're here to dominate. Even though they fell to Cleveland in a thriller, snapping an 11-game win streak, it's hard not to be impressed with what this squad has accomplished. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been flat-out ridiculous, putting up MVP-caliber numbers game after game. Against the Cavs, he poured in 31 points and kept his team in the fight until the final buzzer. Jalen Williams has also stepped up in a big way, giving OKC a reliable second option, and Isaiah Hartenstein's impact on both ends has been a game-changer, especially with Chet Holmgren sidelined. On the flip side, the Knicks are trying to regain their footing. After a rough stretch of 3 straight losses, they bounced back in style with a win over the Raptors, and now they're sitting at 25-13. That victory couldn't have come at a better time. They needed a confidence boost, and boy, did they deliver. Jalen Brunson continues to run the show, dropping dimes and buckets like clockwork, but the addition of Karl Anthony Towns has taken this team to another level. Towns has been a double-double machine, and his ability to stretch the floor and dominate inside makes the Knicks a tough matchup for anyone. The question for New York, though, is consistency. Their offense is top tier, no doubt about it, but their defense? Let's just say it's been hit or miss. This game is all about who can impose their will. The Thunder's defense has been next level this season. They're locking teams down, forcing bad shots, and owning the paint. But MSG is no ordinary arena. The Knicks thrive off that home court energy, and they're 12-5 in front of their fans for a reason. The Garden brings out the best in them, especially in high-stakes matchups like this one. I'm expecting Brunson and Towns to come out fired up, but they'll have their hands full with OKC's relentless defensive pressure and SGA's unstoppable offensive arsenal. Here's where things get interesting. If Towns is good to go, the Knicks have a real shot to not just cover, but maybe even pull off the upset. His presence changes everything, especially against a Thunder team that's been vulnerable in the paint. If he's out, though, it's hard to see the Knicks keeping up with OKC's firepower and defensive tenacity. For me, the play here is Knicks plus 4.5 if Towns suits up. If not, it's Thunder all the way. As for the total, I'm leaning under. The Knicks don't push the pace, they're one of the slowest teams in the league, and the Thunder's defense is no joke. They're holding teams to just 33.2% from deep, the best mark in the league, and they know how to grind games down to their tempo. Add in the fact that Towns is still working his way back from injury and might not be at 100%, and it feels like a recipe for a low-scoring slugfest. Either way, this game has all the makings of a must-watch, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. The fifth prediction for today is for a game between the Washington Wizards and Chicago Bulls. Alright, let's break this one down. Hoop heads. We've got the Washington Wizards rolling into Chicago to face the Bulls, and let's just call it what it is. Washington's been riding the struggle bus all season. At 6-29, they're making a case for the league's basement, and the numbers back it up. A staggering 26 of those losses have been by double digits. Was their last outing against Philly? Classic Wizards. They crashed the boards hard, splashed 43% from deep, and still walked away with an L. That's just the kind of year it's been for DC. Now, the Wizards roster is looking more like a hospital ward. Marvin Bagley, Saddiq Bey, and Malcolm Brogdon are sidelined, while Johnny Davis, Alexander Sarr, Richaun Holmes, and Jordan Poole are questionable. It's a mess, no doubt. But here's the plot twist. They've been showing a little fight lately. They've covered the spread in 4 of their last 8, even when the odds had them as double-digit dogs. And get this, they're sneaky good in the fourth quarter, putting up some of the league's top numbers late in games. If the Bulls take their foot off the gas, Washington could make things interesting. Speaking of Chicago, they're not exactly killing it either. At 17-20, they've been hot at home lately with 3 straight wins, but let's not crown them just yet. Those victories came against Milwaukee, New York, and San Antonio, solid, but not without context. Overall, they're just 7-11 at home, and their defense? Shaky at best, sitting 23rd in field goal defense. They do a decent job defending the perimeter, but that's about it. This is a game where Nikola Vucevic has to take over because the Wizards don't have anyone who can hang with him in the paint. Now here's where it gets juicy. The Bulls are double-digit favorites in this one, which is a rarity. It's only the 9th time they've been in the spot since the 2020-21 season. Yeah, they smacked Washington by 18 points the last time they met, but I'm not buying a repeat performance. The Bulls have actually played better on the road than at home this season, facts don't lie. And let's be real, Chicago isn't the team you trust to blow out anyone, even a team as banged up as Washington. They've got the pieces to win, sure, but covering a fat 12-point spread? That's asking a lot. Now, about that total of 242 points, come on, that feels sky high. Neither of these squads is known for lighting up the scoreboard, and with the Bulls' defensive inconsistency paired with Washington's struggles to string together solid possessions, I'm expecting a slower-paced game. I'm rolling with the under on this one. Here's the play. I'm taking the Wizards and the points. Chicago should walk away with the dub, but asking them to dominate by double digits is a stretch. Wizards cover, under hits, and we cash out. Let's see how it unfolds, fam.